So maybe you can also at the Joseon Hotel and then Topos Studio, we can experience 160-degree, exile systems Aldo Tambellini's work. And it's very honor for me to meet Anna, in here. So please enjoy our discussion with Anna about Aldo Tambellini artwork work. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you as well. And how to
I have that all the time. Okay, I am Michela in the Magrì, as Valentina said before, and all the time Valentina called me by telephone. Oh, Michela, I have to talk about the new project. All the time she convinced me. Why? Because we talk about art, we talk about passion, we talk about messages. And really, when she approached me about Aldo Tambellini, I realized, but he's an American or in Italian? He was Italian American. Oh, here we are, we should do something. And I am here just only to thank all of you, because to be involved in this moment, the first edition of Loop here from Barcelona, here in Seoul, is an amazing opportunity for Korea as well for any culture like us, our country here in Seoul, because we enlarge our view about art. And for sure, also with the director of this beautiful museum, today we can admire once again some messages from Aldo Tambellini. I don't want to mention anything about Aldo because we have here Anna and also our friend. And let me also mention your name, of course, Jinsuk,
yes,
the director of the Busan Museum of Art, and all the Daegyeom, and of course Anna, because you made this moment special. Because honestly, I think as a director of the Italian Cultural Institute in Seoul, that arts today is important, also for all government, because through the artists we understand some messages that sometimes it's not possible to hear from the normal life. And through arts we can for sure understand that we have to move action, we have to put together technology, human being and creativity always near our eyes, to open eyes and to give and deliver good message also to the new generation. And thank you once again for involving us in this new era. We are not primitives, but we have to see this initiative with the eyes of the children. And say all the time, this is good for us to give to the new generation a new input. Well, and last but not least, I want to thank also Mr. Parker, the curator of the museum, for once again inviting us to be part of this important initiative. Grazie a tutti, Italian language, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
One of the most important artists of our history. Aldo Tambellini was the leader, one of the leaders of the Topos movement in 60s, 70s. Another path, and his good friends of Aldo Tambellini. So he's doing electronic media art, in-depth electronic media art. So Philip Ziegler, the director of the curatorial department in ZKM. ZKM is one of the most important art centers in Germany. ZKM has Aldo Tambellini solo show and the biggest archive had. So if you don't mind, can you talk about Aldo Tambellini? Great master. Institution, research a lot about Aldo Tambellini and the biggest archive. And that time is in the German, in Karlsruhe. Yeah, right?
Of course, I didn't mind talking about Aldo Tambellini. It's a great honor also to talk about him, because it's some years back that we did the show in 2016-17, And this was when Aldo Tambellini still was alive and was able to curate and to think about how to represent his works, even though he was already not able, because of health issue, to come from Boston to Karlsruhe to install it, but he did it in the way he wanted to do it. And why it's so important to say this, because there was no protocol at that time how to do it. Because what we are seeing here, parts of that, it's intermedia art, performative art, done mostly also in the Black Gate Theatre, which he founded together with fellow artist Otto Pine, both involved in the zero movement and in the counterculture of the 60s in New York. And they founded this amazing new media space, the Black Gate Theatre in Lower Manhattan. And there, I think the intermedia culture was born in a way there, because this was a place for let's say, experimentation, for expanded cinema, for media installations, video or slide installations. I mean, this what you then also followed up with the immersiveness of media by transforming his work from the 60s into a VR experience. This was, with the possibilities of its time, very, very in an avant-garde spirit, was done already in the Black Gate Theatre in New York at the time. And I was mentioning the counterculture because, of course, this was a time when also a lot of, let's say, civil uprisings was there, or let's say the whole society was moved by the civil rights movement, by the space race, by a lot of, let's say, the Cold War, but also by new technologies. And Aldo embraced also this complexity of its world by focusing on the color of black, but not only as an aesthetic, but also as a symbolic and as a, you could say, philosophical reason. So our show was at the time called Black Matters, and I mean, from Black Matters, I mean, Black Life Matters, and this is also involved in his very pioneering work, that he was also engaged with communities at this time. And probably you see it also here in the early footage from the 60s or early 70s, because then he became also a pioneer in video art, that he was also very much concerned about the social impact of art and working with communities, and not separating it, but using the new technological tools also to work with communities, to give them, empower them also to express their own needs and feelings and visions of the world. So I think this is a very complex work, which then, because it was so complex and pioneering also in media, he went then also to join the MIT, the CLBS, and later on, of course, it was never commercial. I mean, we talked about, he was never someone following the path, the commercial path. So he was never canonicized in a way, let's say, other big inventors of the new were when they just remained painters. So the work was more or less not visible anymore, and just also with the great passion and work of Anna, it was rediscovered in a way, and then let's say the curatorial work started to reimagine how to transform the work of the 60s, a highly performative work, an ephemeral work, media art work, into our modern times with modern technology also. And this is not only digitizing, but also, of course, using new possibilities of media and maybe to expand. And then I think what you said, he was always curious and very open into using technology. And I think there it's the best to hand it over to you, because you were the one also introducing Aldo Tambellini to the possibilities of virtual reality.
Wow. Yes.
It's definitely your time.
I'm going to beg your forgiveness. I will not stand up. My legs are very tired. Okay, so thank you so much for that comment. I would like to thank all of my friends now who have taken part in making this a reality for Aldo. And I am sure that Aldo knew that one day, just like he knew one day he was going to go to Germany for a retrospective, he knew that one day Korea was going to be his next place. And he had often talked about it, but before, I would say, before I go forward, I wanted to connect Aldo again to his Italian heritage, which I think has been a wonderful opportunity for him. He had gotten recognized by Lucchese nel Mondo, which is where he was brought up in Lucca and attended art school there at the age of 8. And was recognized for having really promoted the Italian culture in a sea where Italians had not really gotten a lot of recognition. If you were Italian American, especially after World War II, you were not considered a very cultural person. You would be considered someone very poor who had to come to the United States to be able to bring a family and bring it up. And so the culture never entered into that, and we were also maligned by our newspapers who talked about the mafia, the mafia, the mafia. And so I had a feeling before I met Aldo that I was going to save every Italian artist I could get my hands on. Oh, you're a musician? Good, how old are you? Do you want to go to music school? Some academy? I'll go and register you. I was going to facilitate this creation in the United States of an uprising of a positive image for the Italian Americans. So in 2000, I met Aldo. I thought he was a poet. You know, everybody knew him in the Boston area as a poet because he would go to the streets and sit with street people and start writing either their poems or he would write a poem about the people he was meeting. I never realized until I saw his art that I had to stay with him. I had to fall in love with him because I fell in love with his art first. Okay, so, you know, and he was so happy because his art was so important. If I loved his art and hated him, it means I would work with his art, and he was so happy. But he was very private. He never wanted to boast, oh, I'm an artist, or oh, I did this, or oh, Nanchu Pike, I knew Nanchu Pike. You know, he was my best friend in New York. He was always very much like some special feelings I felt here in Korea. You know, very quiet, non-assuming. He didn't want to be super recognized. He wanted to just go and do his work. Because he knew he wasn't going to sell it. You know, he was so angry with everything that had happened to him in life that he really did not become, his work was not a commodity, and he didn't want it to be. So, before I tell you a little bit about him, I want to tell you a story that I was remembering when I walked in here today, and I thought, I saw these hills and it reminded me of Korea because I've seen a lot of these low hills, right? And I was thinking back to the Korean War, if you would allow me to talk about it 1 minute. Aldo at that time was at the university in Syracuse. And so he got a letter saying you have to report to become a soldier and fight in the Korean War. And he was alone at that time. His mother was in an insane asylum because of schizophrenia due to the war. His father was no longer around. So he was 19 and alone, and he had to report, and hardly spoke English too. So he had to report. And the first person he met was someone who was taking the names, and he said to them, "Gentlemen, wait. I'm not going to the Korean War." He said, "I don't know any Koreans. The Nazis were my